Hi, welcome to How to D&D. My name is Fred Weller. Today I want to talk about the Dungeon Master screen available for Dungeons & Dragons 5e. You can pick up this Dungeon Master screen at any Wizards of the Coast network store, at Amazon or online. There are many locations that are selling it. I've actually kept the cover to this particular screen mostly because of the poster on the inside. So if I open this out for you, and it includes some advertising for the Dungeons & Dragons Adventurers League. I thought it's quite a neat poster. I just never actually put it up on my wall, but I haven't thrown it away. I wanted to keep it. The first thing I noticed with this particular screen is it has absolutely amazing artwork in it. It comes in a landscape style, so that's really useful. You don't have to worry about trying to peer over the top of it. The illustrations for this particular Dungeon Master screen are done by Craig Spearing. The image depicts a red dragon, Thraxitar, the Flame Shield, and her kobold minions confronting an adventuring party. So right here you can see the dragon and the kobolds. On the other side you can see there's a bunch of adventurers who are also being sort of attacked from the other side, from behind. Really nice artwork. It really is invocative and it's quite exciting. One of the elements of this particular screen that I thought was absolutely the best part. So as soon as I opened this particular screen, and when I bought the screen I refused to buy it because I found out what was inside, and it stayed in a drawer for quite a long time, and I continued to use my homemade Dungeon Master screen. I have eventually pulled it out and started to use it, but that was because I became more familiar with the rules of Dungeons & Dragons 5e. If I'd started out with this particular screen I would have been lost, and here is the reason why. There are pictures depicting. Now, I'm not saying the pictures aren't great. It's very nice artwork. It's very pretty. I really like it. But on the inside of my screen, it's not very useful. There is also a lot of really wasted space that really could have been utilized. And I don't want my screen to be absolutely jam-packed with information, but I would like the information that's provided to actually use the space that's there. So the inside of the screen comes with a name generator, which is a great idea, but it's a little bit hit and miss. Sometimes you get a name that really doesn't make any sense and you simply can't pronounce. It also includes an NPC character generator, and that breaks it down into personality traits over here, ideals, bonds, and flaws. Something that I thought was really handy and quite useful to an experienced Dungeon Master. Might not necessarily be great for a new Dungeon Master. So this is where things really start to kick off. This is one of the best parts of the inside of this Dungeon Master screen, and that is the condition panels. It doesn't just give you information on how they work and break it down and make it nice and simple to understand. It provides you with great little illustrations. So you get blind, charm, deafened, frightened, grappled, incapacitated, invisible, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned. None of this I could really understand or fully remember when I was starting out as a Dungeon Master, and still now I don't. And as I use this screen, these are the panels I tend to use the most. So half of the third panel consists of more of those conditions that are hard to remember, such as prone, restrained, stunned, and unconscious. What is great is down here they also include an exhaustion. Now I would never be able to remember the rules for exhaustion. The fact that they included that is really helpful. Over here, this is where things really sort of break down. They have included how to set DCs, such as very easy, easy, moderate, hard, very hard, and nearly impossible, and what that number might be. But it doesn't give you an idea of what that might look like in the game when you're using the different skills and abilities. The cover rules are really helpful. I've used that more than a few times. Obscured areas and how to actually deal with obscured areas, not so useful. Lighting, I don't really worry too much about lighting, but if I needed to know that information, at least I suppose it's there. The various skills that you might use during a check are simply listed, and that's all you get, and what sort of ability is tied to them. Here it feels like a complete waste of time to me. It also includes a chart for travel pace. I've never used the terrain table on this particular screen ever. It gives you some idea of how to deal with noise when you're covering distance. There's a small section on dealing with visibility when it's raining, foggy, there's a clear day, stuff like that. More useful here is the damage by level and severity. This is really the trap information from the Dungeon Master's guide. The something happens chart, you roll a d20 and it determines what you might have happened during that particular encounter. It's basically for filling up space between scenes or combats or encounters. It also has a section on quick finds, stuff that you might find in, I guess, a pack or on a monster, something like that. And then we get a very impressive picture of a Tarrasque. Now, this, I have to say, is lovely artwork, but for a Dungeon Master, the inside of the screen really needs to be about information, and this is sort of a lack of information here. I don't feel it's a great product for new Dungeon Masters because it is missing really important information. Some of the things you really needed on the screen were actions in combat, and they are not included. How to set your difficulty class for a skill check or an ability check. That tiny little chart tells me very little. Now, experienced Dungeon Masters will always have very specific requirements and needs, and so they tend to build their own Dungeon Master screen. Now, this screen has been out for quite a long time, so why am I reviewing it? I'm reviewing this particular screen because I am going to be updating my particular Dungeon Master screen, and while I'm in the process of making it and putting it together, I thought I would show you this so you can see the difference. If you found this helpful or informative, please share, like and subscribe. Make a comment below if you have any questions. Until next time, keep rolling those 20s.